Keflectoflafen, flafenflurfen, Keflectoflingin, faflafen. That was in my native St. Olaf dialect. Here to tell you that we are going to be making a fun little recipe. It's the Golden Girls. We are making Rose Nylund's Lindstrom Surprise here on RJ's Food Rocks. It's a little bittersweet why I'm doing this. Unfortunately, one of my favorite actresses of all time, Betty White, passed away shy of her 100th birthday. I wanted to make something from my favorite TV show of all time, which is the Golden Girls. Through syndication and through streaming, the Golden Girls kind of had this big resurgence in like gay millennials, and now we all love Golden Girls. I first moved to America, and I didn't have a lot, I didn't have school yet because we moved right at the end of 7th grade. So I watched a lot of TV before I actually met Americans my age for the very first time. A lot of The Nanny and a lot of the Golden Girls. To a point where my sister would make fun of me of why are you watching this TV show of these 4 old women? I've been obsessed with Golden Girls since. I know every episode. I know every joke, every punchline. One of my favorite moments from college was about to go to bed. We were all laying on our beds, and then someone would say a punchline from Golden Girls, and then everyone would just start laughing, and then we would just keep doing it for an hour and a half, 2 hours of just reciting our favorite punchlines. Rose is also kind of an unsung hero because she's the agreeable one. Although they did explain in one episode she does have a tendency of making everyone like her. There was a whole episode about this one guy at work just doesn't like her, and she was like, everyone likes me. I relate with that a lot. Betty White's honor, in Golden Girls' honor, I wanted to make the Lindstrom Surprise. Now, famously, Rose Nylund is from St. Olaf, Minnesota, and she has these crazy Norwegian stories and recipes. A lot of it has herring. So I was if I'm going to make a Golden Girls recipe, it's got to be something St. Olafian. It's got to be something with herring.
This is exactly what happened during the Great Herring War.
Great Herring War?
Yes, between the Lindstroms and the Johanssons.
Oh, that Great Herring War.
The 2 families control the most fertile herring waters off the coast of Norway, so naturally it seemed like it would be in their best interest to band together. Oh, boy, was that a mistake. You see, they couldn't agree on what to do with the herring.
Oh, well, that's understandable. I mean, the possibilities are overwhelming.
Exactly. The Johanssons wanted to pickle the herring, and the Lindstroms wanted to train them for the circus.
Did they ever shoot a herring out of a cannon?
Only once. They shot him into a tree. After that, no other herring would do it.
And lucky me, there is a Golden Girls Cookbook. They have a recipe called Lindstrom Surprise, which is from an episode. She makes this joke that she's famous for her Lindstrom. Let me just play it for you.
I offered to help you, Sophia, but you said no.
You're Scandinavian. What do you know? 1,000 ways to make herring?
Well, not 1,000, but a lot. And I'm famous for my Lindstrom Surprise.
What in the world is that?
Herring pie. This surprise is, you think it's pie, like an apple, but when you bite into it, it's herring. What fun!
So I said, okay, this might sound like an actual fun gag to make, so why don't I try and make my very own Lindstrom Surprise? So thank you to the Golden Girls Cookbook for recreating a recipe so that I can make Lindstrom Surprise in my own home. This is a savory pie. It is a herring pie. Okay, this is a perfect opportunity for me to finally make my own pie crust because I've always wanted to learn how to do it. I will let the video speak otherwise, but I had a very hard time with this pie crust. For some reason, I just couldn't get it. But you are going to start with 3 cups of flour, a little bit of salt, about a half teaspoon, and then 8 tablespoons of unsalted butter, chilled, cut into small pieces, and then 4 tablespoons of vegetable shortening that's also chilled. Now that I'm saying that, I think I only put 3 tablespoons instead of 4. So, hey, look, I already figured out why this crust probably was not correct. But anyway, you are going to put the butter and the vegetable shortening in the flour and just like kind of use your hands. If you have a pastry like cutter, go ahead and use that, but I didn't have one. I'm just using my hands. And so I'm just like mashing it so that way the butter and the shortening incorporate with the flour and they kind of become like a really coarse texture, like almost like a cornmeal texture, like very coarse. It just means that like you have kind of combined them together. We're gonna let this chill for about 30 minutes in the fridge. And then once that's ready, you're gonna take it out and then you are going to add tablespoon and tablespoon of ice cold water. It says here sprinkle 6 tablespoons and then toss with like either your fingers or a fork or like a spatula just until it becomes like united. And then after those 6 tablespoons, you add a little bit of water, you add a tablespoon by tablespoon, and then just keep mixing it until it is in a consistency where it feels like you are kneading an actual dough. So you're gonna divide this into half and then wrap it in plastic, and then you're gonna let this chill in the fridge, at least for 30 minutes, do it up to a day. And that's essentially what I did. I like did 30 minutes, I worked on it a little bit more and it just was not coming together. So I kind of just gave up on it, made a new batch the next day, and did the exact same thing. And it was still not coming together as I liked it. Maybe now realizing that's probably because I missed a tablespoon of shortening, but you know what? I was really hell-bent on making a homemade crust because I had just never made homemade pie crust before, and I really wanted to because I love savory pies. So I ended up ditching the bottom half of the pie shell. This is too much. I need to know my own limits and my own expectations for myself. So I just did a top crust. So that is the only thing you're seeing today. So let's make the filling. Large red onion cut into moon slices. And you're just gonna kind of soften this with salt. Keep cooking and stirring it until it's nice and soft and translucent. And then I'm adding about like 4 baby gold potatoes, thin rounds basically. And then I've added that, stirring it until the potatoes have also nicely softened. And then I'm also seasoning this with salt and pepper. Then I'm taking it out of the stove and I'm putting it in a bowl so that I'm letting it cool, because when I make the filling, I don't want it to basically be hot. So just letting this cool. Once the potato mixture is cooled, then I am finishing the rest of the filling. I am adding half a cup of whole milk, half a cup of sour cream, and then about 1/3 cup of marinated herring fillets. So not herring and cream sauce, they made it very clear. But I drained it and I didn't cut it up at first. It says to cut it to 1/2-inch pieces. I didn't do it at first because I was like, well, the potatoes are big and I want us to be kind of like a nice meaty filling. So maybe I don't need to do that. I'm mixing this up and I'm also combining about 1/4 cup of chopped parsley. I added a green onion and then salt and pepper, obviously, to make sure that this is nice and tasty. So I'm mixing this and I'm tasting it as I go. And it has that like consistency and taste of like a filling for like a potato leek quiche. Very oniony, very potatoey. And I wasn't getting the fish like at all. I was just getting the onion and the potato. So I was like, oh, this is interesting. Maybe I should add more fish. So I added probably about another, basically I doubled the herring fillets and then I did chop these up. I'll let you see how that ended up turning out. I rolled out the dough so that way it's like a circle and I'm just doing it as a top. So I put it on top. I kind of like trim the edges so that way it fits nicely on top. And then I cut 6 slits so that way some of that juice can steam out. I added a little fishy in the middle just to symbolize that this is a fish pie. And then I am just doing an egg wash with just a beaten egg and a little bit of water, and then I brush it on top so that way when this bakes, it becomes nice and golden brown. I put it in a 375-degree oven. I put it on the low rack first so that way the filling can cook up. And then I put that in for about 30 minutes. Once that is done, for the 30 minutes, I took it out and put it on the top rack and then rotated it and then added another 20 minutes to the cooking time. So that way the top crust can really bake and get nice and golden brown. My top crust was not perfect. I am, safe and secure enough to admit that. I'm not a baker. There was a lot of seepage of the filling into the outer crust, and that was fine. It makes it look, nice and homemade. Overall, like, the crust ended up being like a nice golden brown. It smelled very fishy. But that's it. That is your Lindstrom Surprise. It is essentially a fishy pie. So if you like savory pies like I do, you might like this one. We'll see. Finally, enjoying a little bit of Lindstrom. A little bit of St. Olaf. Little Lindstrom Surprise. It smells fishy. I will say that. But it smells kind of, oh, look at all this parsley that I just blew away. I'm gonna grab the not pretty parts. Okay, nice crust. Nicely cooked crust. So, that's something after all that we've been through today with this stupid crust. It's nice that I have that to look forward to. Oh, I'm really smelling the herring. Ooh, man. She's a little stuck. Here we go. Whew. Okay. Yeah. That is some strong fish smell. Didn't expect it to be that fishy. Which is crazy because when we were cooking it and I was tasting it, I was like, I don't really taste the fish. So you can see, like, right under the crust, the potatoes and the fish are in those layers. That's a big bite. I am smelling bright, acidic herring. But now let's taste it. It's so fishy and tangy. I need a little bit of the crust, I think, to help balance it out because it's really, really tangy, really fishy. Okay, there we go. With the crust, it's a little bit more like a fisherman's pie now. The crust is really balancing everything out. When I was just eating, like, the filling, all I could taste was herring, like a vinegary brine flavor, probably from the herring, that sour cream, and just like the acidity from the red onions. But with the crust, it puts it all in a nice barrier. It's like the crust almost like provides like a big old slap. Just like nope, before you get too crazy, here's a thick piece of just pastry to get you through it. Very, very interesting. The crust isn't bad. As much as I hated making this crust was pretty good. There it is. Thanks, Rose and Nylund. Yum. Thank you so much for watching this episode of RG's Food Rocks. I'm so excited to be back and ready for 2022 and doing more fun recipes. You can find me on all of your social media at RJ Food Rocks, but the best way to support the show is doing the Patreon. For $5 a month, you can join all of these food rockers and say, I think you're doing a great job. Here's $5 on me this month. But with that, you also get bonus video, a chance to win a monthly gift. So it's a fun time over at the Food Rockers. So hopefully you get to join in there too. If you want more from me, you can find all of my podcasts and shows on the Ampliverse, where we do pop culture all the time. If you want merch, I have aprons for sale with the little RJ guy. So you can find that link below as well. But so if you have any fun recipes that you've seen from TV, from wherever, from Disney, from theme parks, from wherever, please send it my way and see if I can pull it off. And if I don't, hey, at least it's still for fun content. You know what I mean? All right, that is it for me. Thank you so much. I will see you next time with another video. Bye.